How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group, which ended up having a green day in some choppy markets. I am impressed. We were able to get back to the $40 level, but as many of you know already, I am not going to start being bullish until we gain momentum above 42.50. I'll talk about it further inside of this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. I want to make sure you're prepared if you're going to be trading this play. And then we're going to be taking a look at the short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as for the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $40.87, being up 4.39%. On the low, it tested $37.16, and then on the high, testing $41.30. When we take a look at our volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 64.057 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days being at 80.057 million shares. So we did have below average volume on the day, but we still saw some strength in Lucid stock. Now when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it was right around 46.81. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we have strength above the 200-day, we're above the 100-day, we're also above the 50-day, and we're just below the 21-day EMA. And I must say, Lucid did very well considering how choppy the markets were. A lot of stocks were down. And one of the things we want to pay attention to, we ended up seeing a high of $41.30. And I'm going to stay with my hypothesis here. I will not be bullish on Lucid unless it's able to come back here around 42.50 and then have momentum get above the 21-day EMA at $43.99. We could just call that around $44. Now, as far as for the bearish case scenario, one thing that you're going to want to pay attention to, we ended up testing an area of support on the day at $37.16. So what you'd want to see is a continuation of that area actually holding up if it decides to pull back. And if it does, then you're going to want to see if it could hold up these levels here right around $36. But from the way it is looking, I'll be looking to see if Lucid could actually hold up this $39 level, because if it could do that and consolidate in this area, then I could see it reaching up here to 42.50. So it's definitely going to be interesting with the volatility we're going to be having inside of these markets. I can't wait to see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the short interest information for Lucid. So for the dark pool short volume ratio, it's at 62.54%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 26.47 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 350,000, updated 12 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 3.37%. Now, when we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we can see for the close of the 10th, it was at 61.34. And then for the close of the 13th, it was at 62.54. So when we see these numbers right away, what this tells us, Lucid does have short squeeze potential, and it's part of the reasons why we see a lot of volatility inside of the stock and why I emphasize you want to have a strategy before going in to purchase shares. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow, it was 514, and then on the outflow, it was 523. So it was an outflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown even further, you can see on the large, it was 2.37. On the medium, it was 269, and then on the small, it was 243. When we take a look at the outflow side, it was 0 on the large. On the medium, it was 277, and then on the small, it was 246. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, December the 14th, it was an inflow at 2.37 million. When we analyze the numbers even further for the small scale orders, which tend to represent the retail side, we had more selling than we had buying, but it was still fairly close. It was 243 million versus 246 million. And then when we take a look at the medium, we had more selling than we had buying, but it was still fairly close. But when we take a look at the large, which potentially could represent institutions, we had a lot of buying with 2.37 million versus 0 for the outflow side. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 3.90%. So this is a consistent range for Lucid. We know there's many traders that are inside of this play. Plus, on top of that, whenever we see some strong price action, it's going to bring in a lot of buyers, a lot of demand for this particular play. But also, we do see there was a good amount of profit taking. The market conditions were rough, but like I was saying previously, Lucid did hold up very well. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, I was impressed with its overall performance on the day. There weren't many stocks inside of the EV sector that were green on my watch list. It was Lucid, also Fisker, and I think the other one was QuantumScape. But with all of that aside, Lucid was able to break through that $40 wall. It did so many retests at that area and then it finally broke through. But like I was saying before, I will not be a confirmed bull on this play until it gains momentum above 42.50, and then it would have to build strength in this range. If it decides to hold up the $40 level or even the $39 level and wants to consolidate, then I could also see it going to that 42.50 area as well. But this is a very key area where we need to see that momentum. I can see a lot more bulls wanting to step in, and I look at this from a trading aspect. You guys already know what my thoughts are when it comes to the long-term prospects of Lucid. I think it does have a lot of potential, but in regards to a long-term investment and paying these particular type of prices, I feel that as far as for Lucid, you're going to want to purchase shares in the company when it can live up to its actual valuation, and Lucid is not doing that right now. Instead, it's seeing a lot of momentum from a lot of traders, and let's be honest, this is a speculative play at the end of the day. They are going to be going into the NASDAQ 100, and this could definitely be the fuel that is helping Lucid having a strong performance in a volatile market. We can't deny the fact that we do have a Fed meeting that is coming up, and depending on what is spoken about, it will have an impact on the stock market as a whole. And that fear has already started settling into a lot of stocks, but like I was saying, Lucid showed a lot of strength, but we also cannot be naive because it can be impacted by whatever decisions are made in regards to accelerated tapering and the issues that we have surrounding inflation. I want to make sure you guys are just not ignoring that, because at the end of the day, I just want to make sure you guys are making the right decisions when it comes to the stock market. And in order for you to do that, you got to make sure you have a concrete plan. And for my traders, as far as when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential. So this means we're going to continue to see a lot of volatility inside of this stock. And this is why it's provided a lot of opportunities on a daily basis. And I've been making sure to share that with you guys on this channel. So let's see how Lucid performs going into tomorrow, because we know it's going to be an extremely volatile market. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.